Hey there, restaurant pros. It's David Scott Peters, and welcome to episode 42 of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. I've been coaching restaurant owners since 2003, and the Restaurant Prosperity Formula is based on what the most successful restaurant owners I've worked with do on a daily basis to achieve their success. The basic premise of the formula centers around achieving prosperity, freedom from your restaurant, and the financial freedom you deserve. To achieve prosperity, you have to follow a very specific formula made up of leadership, systems, training, accountability, and taking action. Today's topic centers around how fear can stop an entrepreneur in their tracks and how you can overcome any fears you face. Let's get started. But first, a word from our sponsor. This episode is being brought to you by Repeat Returns. If you're a restaurant owner of a medium to high volume independent restaurant, multi-unit or franchise operator, and you're looking for a proven and realistic solution to attract, grow, and retain customers, then you need to visit Repeat Returns. Repeat Returns is a modern marketing platform created by a restaurant owner for restaurant owners. It studies each customer's habits and patterns, predicts the most profitable outcome for your restaurant every single day, and deploys the marketing to make that happen. You'll never lift a finger. To see if Repeat Returns is right for you, visit repeatreturns.com/DSP. The way the last 2 years have gone for the restaurant industry, many restaurant owners have succumbed to fear. Fear is an extremely powerful thing. It's the kryptonite to any entrepreneur, ultimately stopping us dead in our tracks. Now, in early March of 2022, during my Shoot the Shit with DSP, which is a weekly live on Facebook for my private restaurant owner coaching and support Facebook group, I covered this topic of fear. It was wildly popular and really hit home for so many of those who attended, I thought I would share this lesson with you here on my podcast. Now, in an article published in the Harvard Business Review on April 3rd, 2018, an article by James Hayton and Gabriella Cecchitati, they stated that the fear of failure stalks the world of entrepreneurs. They went on to say that courage is not absence of fear, but the ability to persist in spite of it. Their research identified 7 sources of fear. Those 7 sources are financial security, ability to fund the venture, personal ability or self-esteem, potential of the idea, threats to social esteem, the venture's ability to execute, opportunity costs. And not all fears are created equal. They went on to say fear of failure can also change the nature of goals that entrepreneurs set for themselves. Where fear of failure is greater, they may select either easier, readily achievable objectives or wildly impossible goals. Ironically, they said selecting impossible goals allows us to more easily rationalize our failure to achieving them. Either way, fear has the effect of undermining effective personal goal setting. So why do I bring this up? Why did I cover it back in my Shoot the Shit? And why did I want to bring it here to my podcast? I'm going to tell you why. Because on my RTI group coaching call, that was just a week earlier of me doing that Shoot the Shit, I asked my members on the call a mindset question. The question was, when do you feel yourself in a fixed mindset? Now, for those of you who've not followed me for a while, maybe don't know the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset are the people who say, it's the government's fault. It's my vendor's fault. It's those damn employees, my customers. Like, you blame everybody else for your problems. And you think, limiting beliefs. This is as good as it gets. What I know today is what I can do. There's literally, you're stuck and often don't move forward. Now, a growth mindset, those people have the same exact challenges a fixed mindset person has. The difference is they go, man, I can outlearn it. I can outspend it. I can outwork it. I can get by this challenge. There's a way to get by it. So while they're the same challenges in front of each one of these people, one stops dead in their tracks because it's impossible. It's as good as it gets, limiting beliefs. Where the other one goes, man, if I could just learn a little bit more, if I tried a little harder, I can get through this. So when all of a sudden you put yourself in that fixed mindset, it stops you. And fear is powerful. So here are a few situations that they said they put themselves in when they got into a fixed mindset. And I'm going to tell you, my RTI group is a group of restaurant owners, entrepreneurs who have a growth mindset, but they're human beings. I'm a human being, which means I can put myself in a situation that every now and then I find myself in a fixed mindset, making excuses of why I can't do something. And when we do that, we literally stop ourselves dead in the tracks. It's not good. So some of the situations they described, one of them was when they don't know how to do something. When they don't know how to do something, they stop and often feel like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I can't figure this out. I don't know how to do it. And you stop dead in your tracks. Whether that's taking on brand new software and now you're going to do shelf-to-sheet inventory. But the first thing about setting up shelf-to-sheet inventory. So you throw your hands up and say, I give up. It's too hard. David, it's too hard. Can you see how a fixed mindset can stop you? Another situation was when there's a negative situation that they don't know how to fix. So often we don't want to deal with people who are negative. We don't want to have to hold people accountable. We love creating memories and being the life of the party and, everything's good. So when somebody hits us with negativity, it's hard to deal with. I liken it like this. We'd like to surround ourselves with people like us that have the same energy, positive. When we think about that, what you may do is take two magnets, and when you put them next to each other, they're attracted to each other. Now, if I flip one of those magnets, right, positive, negative, they repel each other. And this is what often happens. When we see somebody with a negative attitude, we want to repel away, and instead of dealing with the situation, we allow it to go on. We don't hold that employee accountable. We let it go on. And life gets harder and harder and harder and harder to fix. Can you see how a fixed mindset can stop you? Another situation is when they're unable to find anyone who does it like themselves. And they don't know what to do about it. Like, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. So all of a sudden, this self-fulfilling prophecy of I can't find somebody who's going to do it anywhere near as well as I can. And so I'm always having to cover and I'm always having to redo it anyway. So why train anybody? And all of a sudden this fixed mindset puts you in a position that you're a prisoner to your business because you think it's impossible to train someone else. Did we ever think it's not the people? It's how we train people, how we hold them accountable, our delivery process. But instead we don't. We think, everybody's an idiot. If you find yourself in that fixed mindset. Another situation was when they don't want to hear and don't know how to take unsolicited advice, especially when you don't think the person who's giving it to you understands your business. It can be as simple as the 5 dudes that sit at the end of your bar that are regulars and want to tell you how to run your business every single day. If you only did this, I can't believe you raised the price, ... And you take this beating, you feel like, man, I don't even want to go out of my office. Fixed mindset. But it could be a well-natured friend, a family member, an acquaintance who has a different kind of business, and they want to tell you how to run your business, what you could do to improve. And because they're not in the restaurant business, you throw up these walls and you start to feel yourself get irritated. And it's like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 wah. You don't hear anything. Because you don't want to hear it. How could they possibly be able to understand what it is to walk in your shoes? Can you see how that's a limiting belief? Because there are really smart people. I can tell you, out there in other businesses, I can tell you when I learned a system called the perpetual inventory form for my liquor closet to prevent theft, I learned it from one of my regulars who was in manufacturing. It was a practice they did to make sure they didn't lose parts. But if you want to shut down all the time, put roadblocks up when somebody tries to help you, every time you hear something because they couldn't possibly understand, can you see how a fixed mindset would stop you dead in your tracks? And the list goes on and on. There were dozens of members on the call and they all shared. These were just a snapshot of those that called to me. And I see over and over and over again. Now, I found that there were 2 common threads in all this discussion. What situation you in that puts you in a fixed mindset? two common threads in this whole discussion. The first was basically that fear of failure, which translation causes you pain, that you'll do anything to avoid or stop the pain. So if you don't like to do something, or if it's causing you a challenge, you want to repel, you want to get away from it, you want to avoid the pain. So fear of failure causes emotional angst. It causes us to think limiting beliefs about ourselves. Am I good enough? Can I possibly do that? This is where we start to really say, I don't even want to try. It's that phrase that has been out there in the last decade or so that I didn't even know existed 20 years ago, and that's having an imposter syndrome. Like someday somebody's going to discover that I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. And in order to avoid that, you don't do anything. Now, the second common thread is that knowledge is the cure to both pain and fear. Knowledge is the cure to both pain and fear. And this is the lifelong journey you need to be on. The journey of seeking knowledge to be the best you possible, the leader your restaurant needs, and ultimately a successful restaurateur. So what is the magic sauce? The magic sauce, if you will, of combating fear and being able to continue to move your company forward. What is it that takes us out of that fixed mindset, puts us into a growth mindset? Well, I want you to think about this. I want you to remember what Hayton and Cacciatati said. They stated that the fear of failure stalks the world of the entrepreneur. They went on to say, courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to persist in spite of it. That's powerful. See, I would add to that with knowledge, you can overcome any fear you have. Do you understand? Like, I was on a coaching call with one of my members today, and they're talking about opening a second location and how the fear was kind of stalling everything. Fear of what if it doesn't succeed? Fear of choosing a site that would be right. Fear of not choosing the site that maybe wouldn't bring in the volumes. Fear of how do I duplicate myself and make sure that I can still lead my second business the way I've learned to lead my first business, not have to be in there day to day. Fear of what it would do to my family. Fear. Can you see how fear of failure ultimately can stop you dead in your tracks, put you in a fixed mindset? And you've got to be the leader your restaurant needs. You must be in a growth mindset to lead your business forward. But as I explained to this member, I was like, well, if we do a budget, we have the information to make assumptions on our sales and our expenses. And because you have a restaurant already, we can dump in some current expenses and we can create a scenario. It says, this is what I think I'll do. And we could take not only our qualitative skills, our gut feel for the business, but our quantitative skills, the numbers, and make a good decision. Create a scenario, what blue sky looks like. It looks wonderful, to just what if it was a worst case scenario? Could I make money? Could I make it? And somewhere in between, we can create a realistic scenario or budget that says, yeah, this business will work, or no, you need to run like hell. So with knowledge, I can overcome that. When it comes to site selection, I could bring on a real estate broker, somebody who's an expert in picking site selections for restaurants. And because now I have this person on my team that gives me the knowledge I need to select the right place. By learning to become a great leader, reading books, being a part of my coaching program, going to workshops, seminars, learning how to be the best leader you can possibly be. With knowledge, I can say, I can see how I could have two places. By learning systems and putting them in place, that there's a system, a process, a way to doing anything and everything in your business. By putting those into place, I can train others, impose my will without being there, because now I have the knowledge of what systems to put in place and how to hold my management team accountable. I can get past the fear. Do you see how powerful knowledge is? What we're afraid of is what we don't know. So again, you need to make it a lifelong journey to continue to learn, to be the best you possible, to become the leader your restaurant needs, to lead your business forward. Knowledge, it helps you get past the fear of failure. Ultimately, it has you avoid pain. And that's what we ultimately all want to do. Look, if you want to have free access to me, if you want to join me on my Shoot the Shit with DSP every Friday, travel schedule permitting, you want to learn every Friday morning, you want to ask me questions directly for free, then I'm going to ask you or tell you to go head on over to my Facebook group. Go to Facebook and search for my private Facebook group called Restaurant Owner Coaching and Support. Click on join, fill out the couple questions. Are you a restaurant owner? Are you willing to, follow the rules, treat people properly? Yes, yes, yes. And ask to join. Either myself or one of my team members will get you right in there. And then Facebook will automatically notify you when I go live every single Friday morning, travel schedule permitting. See, that's a part of you becoming the best you possible. That's part of you getting past your fear, because every Friday I'm going to give you some knowledge that can help you become the leader your restaurant needs. So head on over to Facebook. Go find Restaurant Owner Coaching and Support. Ask to join. I look forward to seeing you there and helping you put knowledge in front of fear and become the leader your restaurant needs. Hey, that was an awesome episode. I want to thank you for taking the time to take action on building a better, more prosperous restaurant. Before you go, I want to give you these 3 thoughts. 1, by combining leadership and taking action with systems and training being checked by accountability, you are on your way to creating prosperity for you and your restaurant. 2, I have something I need from you. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you happen to listen to podcasts. By leaving us a review, other restaurant pros seeking out this information are able to find it. I read the reviews, and hearing how this information has benefited you does wonders for me. And 3, if you find any of the discussions helpful, share them. The more restaurant pros who have access to them, the better we become as an industry. For more restaurant resources or to get in contact with me, connect with me at davidscottpeters.com. Be passionate about what you're doing. Be persistent, but more importantly, become better and help everyone around you become better. And your restaurant is going to kick some ass. If you're tired of not being able to leave your restaurant because no one else knows how to run it, I want to make sure you know it doesn't have to be that way. You can leave your restaurant. It is possible to build a team of people who know how you want the restaurant to run. With these trained and responsible people in place, you can give yourself time away. What would you do if you had time away from your restaurant? Would you sleep better? Would your relationships improve? Would you feel more relaxed? These are all things you deserve to experience as a business owner. It's why we own our own businesses. If you would like to learn how to own a restaurant that doesn't depend on you to be successful, click the link in the description to watch a free training course that teaches you exactly what you have to do. Also, be sure to subscribe to get my weekly tips and watch these 2 videos to get more information and guidance for running a successful restaurant.